Momentum is the subject of law of attraction. And momentum is what makes a thought that you might be thinking in this moment become a stronger thought that is harder to stop thinking.
Yes, I know how that works.
So if you can catch it in the early subtle stages, when you first wake up in the morning, there's far less momentum of any thought, wanted or unwanted. And so if you wake up in the morning and you acknowledge, this is going to be a good day, and I'm going to agree with Source more today than I ever have before, and I'm going to try to look at the world through the eyes of Source a little bit more today, and I'm going to look for things to feel good about, and I'm going to feel better today than I usually do, and I love feeling good, and I love the feeling of clarity that comes from feeling good, and I love the feeling of vitality that comes from feeling good too, and I love the reflection that I get back from others when I'm feeling good. And I love how doors seem to open for me more when I'm feeling good. In other words, just stay in that general place where you're just acknowledging that you want to feel good, and then watch how far you get into the day feeling good, and then do it again tomorrow, and then do it again tomorrow, and then do it again tomorrow, and then do it again tomorrow. And before you know it, really in a short period of time, you will have adjusted your set point about you. You will have changed your belief about you. You will have modified your belief to be like the belief that Source has about you. And then people will say, instead of, why aren't you where you want to be? They'll say, why are things always working out for you? Why do things seem so easy for you? And the answer is, I don't know, I just tuned into that. I just wanted to feel better. And so I looked for things that felt better. And I focused more on things that felt better. And after a little while, I stopped feeling the way that I was feeling before. If a train's going 80 miles an hour that way, and you want it to go 80 miles an hour that way, you don't want it to stop all at once and go the other way. It would be really hard on what's inside the train. And it's true of you too. You don't need to change this all at once. You just want to, one experience at a time, acknowledge how Source feels about you in that situation. So for example, let's say you are at work. Let's say you are on your way to work. Do you ever go to work?
I work at home.
So let's say that you are settling in to do some work. What does that look like?
I have a big garage. I'm a mechanic and I build motorcycles.
So is that fun?
It's real fun.
Are you a good mechanic?
No.
Settling in to do some work. What does that look like?
I have a big garage. I'm a mechanic and I build motorcycles.
So is that fun?
It's real fun.
Are you a good mechanic?
No. But I have fun.
So since you said no, why did you say no?
Because I compare myself to people who are really good and have a lot more experience than myself, and the amount of mistakes I do and all of that sort of stuff.
So as you make a mistake,
I throw things.
So let's sort through this. Let's say that you've awakened and you're going to spend how many hours this day doing this thing that you're not very good at?
Varies. Depends how early I do a mistake.
So where do you get the machines that you work on? Do they belong to you, or are unsuspecting, foolish people bringing them to you for repair?
A bit of both.
So when someone brings something in, do you sometimes say, I've done that before, I believe I can successfully do that? Does that ever happen to you? Are you getting any better?
Oh yeah, I'm getting better. Of course I'm getting better. And lots of people think I'm a good mechanic, so it's just me who thinks I'm a bad mechanic, probably.
Do you ever have the experience where, as you're beginning to offer some action, that you remember offering that action before and not getting the results that you wanted? Do you ever feel just the slightest bit intuitive about what you're doing?
I'd get that as well, yeah.
Because there's something that we're going to give you here that is the reason for your anger. We want you to know, there are two There are more, but there are specifically two really specific, really adept mechanics who, from a non-physical point of view, are guiding you. Are you ever aware of that? And the reason that you get so frustrated is because you're not in the receptive mode and you can't quite hear them. Your frustration is not because you're a lousy mechanic. Your frustration is because the ability to be brilliant is right there and you're not tuning into it. And that is the reason for your frustration. It's not about what you're doing with your tools.
Yes.
And no one here is throwing anything, even when you're not in the receptive mode. Just keep nudging and giving you the impulse and knowing and knowing and knowing and knowing. In other words, if you'll just chill out just a little bit, those thoughts about what to do next, not about how to get it done all at once, about what to do incrementally next. Incremental steps, because you know what? There's nothing that someone who was a really good mechanic while they were physically focused, who is now non-physically focused, there's nothing that that non-physical mechanic loves more than being able to flow through the hands of someone willing to receive. So, your negative emotion every single time is about blocking what you're asking for. That's why the tug of war is there. That's why you're so down on yourself. But you see, you don't need to be down on yourself because those mechanics are mechanicking through you. They are. They'll give you the impulse. They'll give you the insight. They'll give you the procedure. They are giving you the what comes first and what comes second and what comes third and what comes next. They'll help you calibrate motors in a way that you've never done it before. They'll give you the ability to hear. They'll help you tune to the sound of the engine. In other words, this is creation at its best. Esther watches sometimes on one of her properties because there often is a big cherry picker working on a roof somewhere or a backhoe that is digging a hole somewhere. She has a lot going on in a lot of different places. And she loves watching those men on those big machines, making the machine do exactly what they want it to do as if it is an extension of their own fingers. And that's what we want you to feel. We want you to feel yourself an extension of brilliant, infinite intelligence focused toward any subject of your personal desire. And so, it turns out that the only reason that any of you are ever down on yourself is because you're not letting yourself really be yourself. You're not letting yourself be the performer, the receiver, and the performer of the inspiration that your desire has queued up for you. But it can change tomorrow, and it will the next time you're in the shop. You'll feel a difference. You'll feel a difference.
Promise?
Absolute. 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 And when you feel frustration, know what it means. I'm just not letting it in. There's guidance there that I can't hear. And the reason I can't hear it is because I'm beating the drum. I'm not very good at this. I'm not very good at this. When the truth of it is, you're brilliant at this at times and you know it. Sometimes something just occurs to you and you try it and it works and you go, oh, what a lucky thing that was. No, it wasn't a lucky thing. It was inspiration received by you, you see. So does this make you feel like a puppet on a string? We don't want it to. We don't want it to make you feel like a puppet on a string because you're the one that mixed it all up and asked for this. You're the one that opened the garage and put the shingle out saying that this is what I do. You're the one that invites people over with their machines. You're the one that lets their desires dovetail with yours. You're the one that's summoning this energy. You're the one that's summoning this brilliance. You're the one that has it right there at your fingertips. Now you got to be the one who lets it in.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always the process. How good it is that you know you're not good, because when you become good, you're going to feel the relief of not being bad. In other words, Each time it gets a little better, you're going to feel a little more relief. Each time you hear a little more. Each time you have that tool in your hand and you apply it with more precision. Each time the inspiration flows to you and you know what to do. Each time that happens, that's the sweet spot. It's not fixing the thing. It's not fixing it. That's the condition that we aren't interested in you caring about. We want you to enjoy the feeling of coming into your own. We want you to feel what it feels like to pick up that tool and know it's exactly the right one, to walk over there. We want you to revel in that feeling of confidence. We want you to approach that machine with that knowledge that is flowing through you, and we want you to acknowledge that you've got something going on here that's good. We want you to revel. We want it to be fun for you. You're right on track when you say, I'm doing it for the fun, 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 because we promise you the other end of that source energy mechanic is sure doing it for the fun, really doing it for the fun.
Does he get frustrated with me?
No, and if he did, your frustration wouldn't be felt by you. Your frustration is your differing opinion with him. It's like, you can do it, I can't do it. You're really good at this, I really suck at this. You're figuring it out, I'm never going to figure this out. I'm having fun. This is fun. I like figuring this out. And before you know it, here's another promise to you. You're going to find new ways of doing things that no one here has figured out yet. You're going to find ways of retrofitting things. You're going to figure out things that can be used instead of those things. Inspiration is going to flow through you. You're going to be the creative genius that you were born to be through this avenue if you choose it, you see.
Yes.
Because it does not matter what the subject of your attention is. When source flows with you, it's awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel better, don't you?
I do feel better.
Yeah. If you choose it, you see.
Yes.
Because it does not matter what the subject of your attention is. When source flows with you, it's awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel better, don't you?
I do feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good enough?